Hi, I'm Maya, and this is the channel Bookworm Dreams. Welcome to a reading vlog. So, the plan for this vlog is to be a week-long reading vlog in which I will finish at least 2 big books on my October TBR. If you follow me on Instagram, if you aren't, go check it out. I posted a picture of my October TBR in which I have sections. And one of the sections of my October TBR was I like big books. And in that section, I put 6 big books from my hrcyed TBR to finish. I mean, those are books that have been on my TBR for years. And I have finished one. I read Warbreaker by Brandon Sanderson. And I really, really liked it. And we are nearing the end of the month. We have... Today is the 20th of October, so it would be nice if I read a bit more of the big books that I picked for this month. So we are going to start this week with The Shadow of What Was Lost by James Islington. I think it's Islington. People have been saying Islington, I don't know. I think it's Islington. Anyway, the narrator of the audiobook said Islington, so it's Islington. What do I know about this book? Absolutely nothing. Okay, so if we look at the cover, there's a big orange moon. There are people with weapons, men and women. There's grass, there's rubble. There's a tower with archery in it and a dude holding a spear. There's birds. And I still don't know what this is about. Yeah, I'm just gonna share some thoughts and knowledge of the summary when I read some of the book. While I'm reading / listening to the book, I will be working on my bookshelves, as in they need to be cleaned and reorganized. So this is my bookshelf now, see? Cluttered and filled with things. Here is the second bookshelf I will be working on. See, games and bunch of shit on the shelves. I have to reorganize and do stuff. A little overview before I put the tchotchkes back on. I mean, I probably should have left, space for when I read or continue series that are on this shelf, but whatever. We'll deal with that when I actually read something. Okay, so I'm now up to chapter 6, which is 8% of the audiobook, and stuff has happened. So in this book, we follow Davian. Davian is a young man in a school for the gifted. Not entirely sure what they're gifted in. They have some kind of magic. I haven't seen the magic yet. Anyway, Davian is different because he is technically gifted, but he can't control magic. No, wait. No, he can't even produce anything. So he has great knowledge of whatever, the theoretical knowledge of whatever magic they have, the gifts, but he can't do anything with it because he doesn't have any power. So he's in this school where he's been placed since he was young and orphaned, I guess, because there was a big war between the gifted and the regular folks, I guess. And people hate the gifted. When the gifted leave the school, they have to wear shackles that prevent them from using their magic. And a trial is coming where, the students are supposed to show their gifts. And if you don't have any gifts, if you fail the trials, you become a shadow, which means they put a mark on you that I guess prevents you from doing that ever again. Well, now, Davian has an ability that he hasn't told anyone but his 2 friends, which is that he can tell when people are lying, which makes him an augur, A-U-G-U-R. And basically those are people who can predict the future, and they're even more hated than the gifted people. So he meets an elder, and he tells him, you need to leave. It's the eve of the trial. You need to leave to go do that. To find someone, go north and you will find someone that will teach you stuff, the magic. And then you can, develop your the ability because a border is failing. Now, what kind of border? I'm not entirely sure. But apparently there's a border. And so he leaves with a friend. And the next day, at the morning of the trial, his girlfriend, a friend who's a girl, wakes up and finds everyone dead. The students, the teachers, everyone dead and slaughtered in their school. And she comes across the elders that have come out of town to do the trial. And they're like, you're alive. How unusual. And then they turn her into a shadow. Because, well, the thing left you alive, so something that attacked the thing has been, by the way, has been attacking other schools and such. Left you alive, so for reasons, but we'll just turn you into a shadow. We won't let you use your magic and whatnot. So, stuff. That was unexpected. I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, I'm enjoying it so far. Very interesting. Okay, it is currently around 5 p.m., I think. I have gotten to 25% of the book. That means I'm on page 175, about to start chapter 16. This thing, first of all, is a debut novel. And oh my god, it's a pretty awesome debut novel so far. So our main character, Devin, or whatever, however you say his name, has been basically sent on a mission to find some person. Now, I have some thoughts on who this person might be. He has found him and rescued him. And I have some thoughts on who this person is, because at the beginning of the story, we sort of see there was a little prologue where we had two, call them mighty beings, fighting, and one of them escaped. That this person they found is one of those two at the beginning. Devin, his friend Weir, and they met another dude on their way. They have been sort of stalked by a shadowy figure that kills everybody. So the dude that they saved doesn't have his memories, so now they're on a mission to get his memories back. And the other point of view that we have is a female character called Asha. She is Devin's friend. I think I've mentioned her before. So she has gotten the short end of the stick in every situation that she comes in. And that's like my only gripe with this story, that the only female character whose story we are following is always in trouble and is always being hurt and is always like in a bad situation. That's my only gripe. So she's lost her power and she is now trying to live as one of the shadow. And she's basically being gaslit by the people who brought her to this town. Like, you begged us. You were so emotionally distraught because like your friends died that you begged us to take away your power. Like, seriously. And she was also very, very dubious and suspicious of that when they told her that she begged them to, because she's so emotional. Oh my god, it was so fucking difficult to read. But she is now going to go into some little bit of spying, because everyone is interested in what's happening at these schools. Because her school for the gifted was not the only school that has been attacked. So yeah, she's going to go do a little bit of spying to try to figure out, what's happening. I hope they bring her to the place that she can get her memories back, so she can know that, her friends aren't dead and that she didn't give away her power, that it was taken away. So I'm hoping that at some point in the story this will happen. So yeah, I'm enjoying the writing so much. I'm enjoying the world. It's all very interesting and fast-paced, really. And the characters are interesting, and, I'm just having a really good time reading this. I cannot believe this is a debut novel. Oh, that is so awesome. So yeah, I'm having a great time with this book so far. But it's 25% in. We'll see how it goes. Hi. It's the next day. I am now at 50% of this. Things have taken a turn. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this turn yet. Anyway, so these are spoilers for A Shadow What Was Lost. If you want to skip the spoilers, just go to this time of the video. Right, so we have found out that there is a big war, obviously, between the ogres and the rest of the people. We can't be sure currently who is like the good guy and who is the bad guy. Our main character that we have followed, Davian, has been taken out of the story in another time or a space somewhere outside of time. Not entirely sure. I guess to receive his ogre training and to learn more about the war. We are now following the other characters. So the plot has gone timey-wimey and I'm not sure I like it. We have been getting points of views of other characters, which is interesting, which brings in a change of pace. There's one thing that happened with Asha, who's finally not getting like the short end of the stick anymore, which is great for her. But basically she was contacted by Davian from the future to tell her like some information. He gave her information like that will impact her, immediate future. She started working with organization that helps the Shadow, and so she started working with them because she wanted to find out or help the Shadow and wanted to find out what happened to her friends. So when she infiltrated the palace, let's call it like that, she now works for the palace, at least the brother of the king, to help him investigate, but also help him with whatever overall plot that is he's doing. I'm just like the elements of the timey-wiminess of not I mean, it is time travel. It is getting out of current time and just having contact with people from the future, from the past, but different various characters. It's making the whole thing a bit confusing, but I am enjoying it still. It's gotten a bit more serious, so I guess the humor and the entertaining elements are kind of slowly bleeding out of it. But we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm having fun, I guess. I am having fun reading this, but it's getting a bit complicated. I am now at 80% of this. I have 2 more hours of the audiobook left. Not sure how much reading I will be getting to today, because we are now at the part of the book where there was constantly throughout the book a threat of invasion, and now the main city is about to be attacked. So the military stuff is about to happen. I think it's a good place to stop, because this book has too many characters. Every character in like our main group, and there are like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5, has met with at least 3 different groups of other characters that are trying to push their own agendas in this story. And I am having a difficult time following who is who and who represents what, and too many characters. So what can I tell you now at the 80% of a book and not spoil the entire plot? I like how everyone communicates. Even if some characters keep secrets or are doubting the motives and actions of others, it's quickly sort of brought to light that they're doing that. And they go, okay, well, here is what I was doing and why I was doing it. Let me tell you out my story. And I just find it funny how everyone's like talking about Devon, for example, and his ability as an ogre. You can't tell anyone. Everyone's like, you can't tell anyone. And everybody's telling everybody about Devon. It's so ridiculous. And in this world, I am assuming, if not regular people, but like the higher-ups, they know about the gifted and what they can do. They know about the ogres and what they can do. There isn't like a prevailing belief that the ogres don't exist anymore, right? Because there are people looking out for them and people who are like trying to destroy them and whatnot. So if you see a person in power acting strangely, all of a sudden the king is acting weird, and your first thought isn't, well, he might be, mind controlled by the ogres. If the army is suddenly not acting army-like, if the soldiers are like gallivanting, they're not like taking their duty seriously, isn't your first thought, oh my god, there is a force that can affect people, that can control people, that can make them do stuff that they don't normally do? Shouldn't your first thought be like, they could be controlled by this force? Which of course puts the ogres and the gifted in a bad position, but whatever. Like, isn't that your first thought? It's confusing. So yeah, that's my gripe currently. We are seeing several actions happening in the story, and I'm assuming the characters are smarter than I am and are paying more attention than I am. But Jesus Christ, isn't that like your first thought? Like, so many things that are happening in the story can be explained in a very logical way, but it's not happening, and I find that very frustrating. I'm still having fun with it though. But I'm not going to finish it tonight. I thought I would, but no. And here is my reading companion. Okay. Very dark. All right. So it's the next day, evening. I have finished this one. I was right about certain things I was half right concerning the king and the army. And I liked how that got discovered and what happened after that. Overall, I really liked this book. I had a great time reading it. The last 150 pages were very tense and lots of things were happening. Lots of things got discovered. But I still maintain that there were too many characters. And then I realized that the problem is also that there are several characters that have at least 2 or 3 different names. And also there's shape-shifting. So this is a debut novel for James Islington. This is fucking fantastic. Like, dude, really great. So yeah, I had a great time with this, and I'm going to try to get to the sequels soon. Because I'm not going to remember all the people and all their names and shit, even though I put like tabs in. My plan for the rest of tonight is to actually try to finish a book club book called Titus Grown, which I have been reading since last week, and the plot is non-existent. It's a book that was written in the 1940s of the last century. It's about royalish family in somewhere in a castle, and everyone's weird, and there's a doctor that goes, ha-ha, a lot. And it's really weird. So yeah, I'm going to force myself to finish that today so I can start tomorrow with Ruin, probably, by John Gwynne, which is book 3 in a series. All right, so I did this is my shelf where I put books that I haven't read, or some books that I bought after reading and I want to reread at some point. The phone is precariously placed on like a bunch of notebooks that keep leaning, and the tripod is not whatever. Anyway, it's the next day, evening, obviously. I read 183 pages of Ruin by John Gwynne. I'm on chapter 23. That makes it maybe 25% of the book, because the whole thing is like over 700 pages. So what can I tell you about the book that actually makes sense? So, in this world, we have 2 gods, and those gods have angels. And an angel for each god is basically grooming their champion for like this prophesized battle. In first book, we follow 2 characters that we continue on following through the series that are supposedly these champions. One of them is Corbin. In the first book, he's like 15, I think, 14 or 15. He lives in a village, and his basically only goal in life is to become the huntsman for his village and serve his king. The other character we follow is the dude whose name I cannot pronounce. Nehrim, something that starts with N. So he has it on good authority that he is like the champion of the good guys, the bright star. And so he's doing things to achieve his goal of becoming the champion, because in the prophecy, the champion is this person, I call it the person with many adjectives. He has many titles, he who fights with wolves, a friend of giants, king killer or something, so on and so on. So our dude Nehrim, whatever his name is basically doing things to become all of those things, and also trying to capture as many of legendary weapons and things that the champion needs, right? Corbin, on the other hand, he's just living his life, like being a peasant, basically. And through the story, Nehrim joins up with a queen who wants to conquer most of the kingdoms in the West. And she's doing that in books 1 and 2, I believe. So Corbin's kingdom is one of those kingdoms. So when he sort of comes in contact with the enemies, he discovers some things about like his family, about a friend of the family who's been like his mentor, guardian throughout his life. And he goes on a adventure, and he learns things. And throughout the story, you're basically wondering like which one of the 2 of them, is the good guy, like the champion for the good god, and the champion for like the evil one, right? So I'm in book 3. We know already who is who, and it might seem sort of obvious at the beginning, but it's very interesting to see how both Corbin and Nehrim are influenced by the gods, because they keep like sending them messages through dreams and such. So if you are dreaming for years about this dude who's telling you are so awesome, like you will be this magnificent thing, and you're going to like do great things. You just have to do this and this and this, and so it's easy to see how certain people would be led astray and led to do things that are not cool at all. And you don't follow just those 2 characters. You follow all the people that are around them. So in Corbin's world, we follow his sister, like what she gets into. then his mentor guardian guy. In Nehrim's world, we follow, then we follow like various friends and whatnot. I'm enjoying it so far. It's interesting. There are so many people. Like, I think I had at least like 10 different points of view so far in these 23 chapters. But I'm like, okay. But I like this book had the first 70 to 80 pages was like, who am I and why am I here and how did I get here? It's sort of a refresher for people who haven't like who aren't binging the series. So yeah, that was fun reading the first 80 pages. Like, oh, okay, I remember now who you are and how you got here because it was all nicely explained. Also, I did my okay, this one, this shelf. I cleaned it and rearranged books. It is currently Sunday afternoon. Let's call it that. It's before lunchtime. So the last time you saw me, it was Thursday, right? So I didn't read any of the book on Friday and on Saturday because on Saturday I was out doing things and finishing a book that I continued reading on Friday. So Morena Kutia has a reading challenge. Morena Kutia is a speculative fiction, more horror-leaning online magazine that publishes short stories and comics and whatnot from local authors. And they have a reading challenge for October. The challenge is to read 31 scary, spooky short stories. So I've been doing that. And I've been mostly doing that on weekends. So I just used Friday and Saturday to finish an anthology that I was reading called Our Shadows Have Claws, which was really cool. It's a collection of 15 short stories by Latin American authors, and each story is sort of introduced with illustration. And illustrations were awesome, and I just really, really had fun. I had a fun time reading this, and so I just wanted to finish it. So I'm dedicating my Sunday to reading and finishing Ruin. I'm currently at 53% of the book. I have, like, I don't know, 300 pages more than 300 pages to read. I think I have like 5.5 hours of listening time left of my audiobook. But I'm listening and reading on my e-reader, so it goes a bit faster. But what can I tell you? Without spoiling like what's happening in book 1, book 2, and book 3. Let's just say I'm worried for certain people whether they would survive this book or not, because they're getting some happiness in their lives. And the book is called Ruin. My prediction is that the ending of this book will be awful for the good guys. And they will have like the fourth book to like rally and defeat the enemy. So some people are like, oh, things are going well. And I'm like, oh no, this is a sign that you'll die soon. So I'm just following my characters along and hoping they survive the different conflicts that they are participating in. And that's all I can tell you. Okay, it is now, I think 2 days after I last spoke to you. But the good news is I finished Ruin. Yay! Yeah, I finished it. And I was so stressed by the end. What can I tell you without spoiling the whole thing is that there is a twist in like the last third of it that I did not expect, which is, I think, it's a very cool twist. Now, the reasons why I was stressed. First of all, the book is called Ruin. And people online were like talking about how it will ruin you because of the things that happen. And we had a character from like the good guys saying, oh, we are going to win. And not only has she said it once, she said it at least 3 times. And I was like, stop saying that, because that means something horrible will happen. And the ending was a bit predictable. I mean, the moment you saw one of the main characters leave the protected area, you were like, oh my God, like you're getting kidnapped or something. So the ending was a bit predictable. It was very, very, the last third was very, very stressful. It was just, it was a good read. I really, the first thing I did after finishing this book was checking how long the audiobook for the last book is. The last book is Wrath. And the audiobook is like 5 hours shorter than the previous ones. I was like, oh, like I could technically read it, but no, I will leave that for November or December. But yeah, I finished Ruin, and with that, I finished the planned TBR for this reading vlog. So if you have read and you want to share your thoughts on The Shadow, What Was Lost, and Ruin, please do so down below in the comment box. Other than that, if you like this video, press the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!